Hey folks, walk with me. We got some snow. So you'll at least have a nice backdrop to what'll probably otherwise be a relatively soapboxy chat from me today. But I've noticed this, not noticed, it's been obviously thrown out there. There's this like major gravitation to sort of like we have to laugh so we don't cry sort of mentality, as far as I can tell, in the world of like crypto, where folks just get absolutely rugged and bagged and get money taken from them by the people who set up some sort of scammy situation with the coin. But it's gotten so crazy that not only are there like people who, I feel like it sort of started where people would kind of like laugh about it on Reddit, and then that sort of like transitioned over to include like Twitter, and people would just think it was like hilarious to be the most sort of like degenerate, just foolish with their money type of person who then like acts that way. But now we've reached a new level. Now the level is there is a site called pump.fun. And this, I don't know how old it is. Maybe it's been around for a while and I'm just becoming aware of it. But from what I can tell, at least a bulk of the activity there, maybe not all of it, but a lot, some, whatever, euphemistic, quantitative phrase we want to use, are just people who go on, they create something and ask people to put money into it with the intention of pumping it and then pulling the rug and, those things going to basically zero, and then whoever sort of set it up running with the money. And the site is called pump.fun. Like, the purpose of you going on there is to do that. Like, even as an investor, right? Someone who's going to contribute, you, from what I can tell, you go on with the full knowledge that you're going to get bagged. And so you're just handing over someone money because you have decided to think it's funny. And I think maybe a lot of this is born out of like the teens and early 20s. And maybe even something tied back to like Atlas Group, where people were legitimately trying to find ways to make money in the stock market, find ways to make money with crypto and then NFTs and, so on and so forth. And then just getting endlessly bagged and scammed and rug pulled. And I think maybe eventually the mind just sort of turned from, it couldn't accept that like this sort of evil existed. And so this is where I mentioned at the beginning, the laugh so you don't cry sort of thing, right? So instead of just becoming despondent at the state of affairs, that you cannot beat the players at the top, or you cannot beat the scammers at this game, and being so disgruntled with that instead of just letting it go, disappearing, finding something else to do, or somehow collectivizing and fighting back against it, instead of that, a certain portion of people just kind of acquiescing to it, just wholeheartedly, whole-walletedly, whole savings accountedly, just giving into it and saying, oh, no. I'm not getting scammed. I'm not getting rug pulled. I'm an active participant. This is my fun, right? I'm going to think this is hilarious. It's some sort of weird manifestation of just absolute greed that I think started with the absolute greed of scammers, pump and dumpers, whatever. and now has trickled down to the greed of those same people, but now just having the full go-ahead from the people who they're trying to scam to do it because the system feels so rigged and the system feels like it's set up in such a way with no consequences that it can happen at any point. So why not just be a willing participant in it, right? Why not just decide I'm going to laugh about this because no matter what, the system is rigged against me. And whether that is something as traditional as like being able to afford a home or to have an actual like living wage and some level of being treated with dignity in the course of the economy and society, whether it's something as traditional as that or something as sort of new as learning how to be a successful day trader or finding ways to make money through hustles that are sort of more common to the technology age that we find ourselves in and the accessibility of certain things because of that. I think that there's a strong through thread from all of those things, and I think it just hits different people differently. But it is unfortunate to see that there is some percentage of people who have just decided this is going to happen to me anyway, and so I'm just going to participate in it willfully and laugh about it and have that be some portion of my identity as a person. So I don't know how we get out of it. I don't know what the solution is, but I had just seen like several stories about this from Pump.fun and then sort of recently with the Haktua coin, which is a different thing. That wasn't set up through Pump.fun. I think that was Solana project situation. But in any case, it's just nonstop, right? And then throwing back to the Atlas folks, maybe that deserves its own video at some point, but their lawsuit, which seemed to be pretty airtight from what came out, got dismissed from what I last recall. And so seemingly no holds barred and no consequences to be paid for this activity. So wild stuff. But we'll see what happens. I don't know how much pain it's going to cause individuals and then bleed out into families and communities and society as a whole in the process. But hey, we're here, so we're going to find out, right? All right, folks, well, if you walked with me, we got in a little over 8 minutes today. If you didn't, I hope you at least enjoyed some of the sights and sounds. There's a lot of falling, melting snow. It snowed and then sort of warmed up fairly quickly. It's not super warm still. It's only a few degrees above freezing, but enough that the sun shining brightly on the snow toward the top of the trees is, melting it just enough for it to start to plop down in these wet snowball sort of things. But in any case, I hope that you are enjoying your time wherever you are and you have equally as beautiful views as these are. And of course, I will see you in the next video.